Welcome to the Real Estate Syndication Show. Whether you are a seasoned investor or building a new real estate business, this is the show for you. Whitney Sewell talks to top experts in the business. Our goal is to help you master real estate syndication. And now your host, Whitney Sewell.
This is your daily real estate syndication show. I'm your host, Whitney Sewell. Today, our guest is Lyndsay Phillips. Thanks for being on the show, Lyndsay.
Oh, great for having me. Thank you.
Now, I know each of you are, or if you are getting into this space as a syndicator, or you're trying to raise capital, you're trying to do all those things that so many people I know in this business are trying to do. This is going to be a show you're going to want to listen to. And Lyndsay is an expert on content marketing and everything that goes into that. And she's coaching and helping lots of people in this business. So I'm looking forward to this conversation, and I hope you are too. And I hope that, if you're putting out content, you're going to want to hear this show. But before we get to it, I want to tell you, remind you to go to Life Bridge Capital, go to the Contact Us page. So you can just put your email in there and your name, and I will personally connect with you and have a phone call and love to help you any way that I can. So I hope you've done that. Hope you're sharing the show. And a little about Lyndsay. She's a serial entrepreneur, self-professed organizational freak. She wrote that. I didn't come up with that. So client-appointed task master plus project ninja and warrior content marketer for life and business coaches, accountants, and other online entrepreneurs across the globe. This is the CEO and founder of Smooth Selling Business Growth and Smooth Business Growth Podcast. Love sharing practical tips, business building, and content marketing strategies so that you can be more productive and attract more customers faster. So, Lyndsay, this is a great topic. I get calls every week. So many every week asking me about podcasting or asking me about how we've managed to do this daily show for this long, or, was it worth it? I get that so often. Was it worth it to do a daily show or a podcast altogether? Is it worth my time? And that's what people are trying to judge. And so I'm looking forward to getting into this. But tell the listeners a little about who you are and what your focus is, and let's dive in.
You bet. I know, and content marketing is such a big term that some people think it's just social media, or they're not really sure what it entails, right? And to me, it's like all that good experience and the knowledge that you have in your head, and it's how you get it out to other people to serve them and help them and give them resources and tips. So whether that's videos or blogs, and of course podcasts, social media, live Facebooks, even opt-ins, because they're, ebooks and so forth, email marketing. They're all the different mediums that kind of make up content marketing. So it is a broad term, so can kind of feel a little bit confusing. So we help people in every way: sales funnels, podcast production. Of course, I love podcasting. Have my own show. So it's just sharing your knowledge and your expertise with people so that you can attract your ideal client. You can build relationships. And then, of course, the name of the game is conversion.
So let's talk about that. Attracting our ideal client, get us started in thinking about that and how we want to go about doing that. Because, whether the listener has gotten started on their thought leadership platform or not, they need to be thinking about who they're trying to attract. Right. You
can't go, you have to have that information to do anything. Otherwise you're just throwing spaghetti on a wall and hoping it sticks.
And that's not too productive, is it?
It's not really.
All right,
tasty, but
so knowing who our ideal client is, let's say most of the people are going to be looking for that, the business owners or the high paid professionals, or that are too busy to own their own rentals or manage their own rentals, but they understand that they need real estate. They need to own real estate for the tax benefits and passive income benefits, numerous other things. And so help us to think about how to attract that type of individual.
First, and what one of my coaches said to me years ago was, think about your top 3 or 5 favorite clients that you have. What brought them to you? So what was their pain point? What did they need help with? And then what makes them your ideal client? Like, is it how you serve them? Is it their personality? Do they pay on time? That's always a thing. But just that relationship and what you're doing to help them, and what you're doing to solve their problems. So like, what are those, is that sweet spot? And really like dive deep, write down all your points, and really, decipher, what they're about and where are they at in their business or their life, depending on your business. And again, their personalities, their goals, what makes them tick, where are they hanging out? That is huge. Don't invest your money in LinkedIn if they're all hanging out on Instagram. So you really need to kind of do a little bit of R&D and kind of, be a stalker for a day and check them out and see what they're posting, what they're asking, where they're, uh, where they're spending most of their time. I'll never forget, Snapchat was, all popular and everyone was jumping on that bandwagon. And I said to one of my clients, I'm like, but your clients, like, they don't even know what Snapchat is, let alone like using it. So why create that platform? You don't want to spend your time and money in places that are not going to give you that ROI. So those things are really key. And that will help you not only know what social media platforms to put your time in, because you don't need to be everywhere. You just need to be where your peeps are hanging out. And same with content. We did this really great survey once with another client, and we found out that the bulk of their time on the resources that they wanted to read, view, whatever, was YouTube. So therefore, it made sense to do more videos rather than writing blogs. Yes, you still want to have some blogs on your feed and your site and stuff for organic traffic, but really they were just all into the videos. So put your time into that. And again, like with podcasting, right? If your ideal client are, I don't know, 60, let's say, and they're barely know what a podcast is, don't start up a podcast because your ideal client is not listening to them. So you really have to, that is your crucial starting point. Even look at your competition, right? Or the leaders in your industry. What are they doing? Like, do a little R&D there, right? Where are they hanging out? Where, they may have like a bazillion followers on Facebook and have hardly anything in LinkedIn. So just kind of paying attention to those nuances, the topics that they're talking about. Even look at their YouTube videos. You can see which YouTube videos have like, 1,000 views and which ones only have a few views. So you can really kind of start to garner a lot of information that is useful to you to know how to step forward on where to be, what kind of content to put on, and even the topics to cover. It's amazing how much information you can get.
No, that's great advice. Look at what other people are doing, right? I mean, look at
Mm-hmm.
what's working already before you get started. And so I guess, could you walk us through some things that we need to know to get from, knowing who that avatar, that ideal client is. And I appreciate that, like thinking about who your top ones are now, it seems so simple, right?
Yeah, totally.
Think through that. That's awesome. Okay, but now going from thinking about who that is, we figure that out, to that conversion. What are some steps and things we need to understand to getting them to the conversion?
Sure. So I always say that content marketing is as easy as ABC. A is attracting your client. B is building relationships, and C is converting. I mean, I could do a podcast episode on each one individually. It's a lot of information. But now that you're, putting out content to attract your ideal client, you of course want to convert them. So it's great that they're interacting with you on social and they're on Facebook and they're loving your videos, but you want to get them onto your email list so that you can nurture them and make more offers to convert them. You want to go for the ask, right? Ask them, DM them and just say, hey, I noticed you've been commenting on a lot of my stuff. Maybe you've got some more questions. Let's hop on the phone. Let's have a phone call. So that's a conversion, right? Like you're bringing them closer into your circle. You're growing that relationship, and you're having a chance to have the conversation, and then potentially, convert them into a sale or whatever you want to call it. And again, if you have lead magnets, so an opt-in, put in your name and your email to get a checklist or a video series or whatever it may be, that is a conversion. So if all your peeps are like hanging out and loving you on Facebook, you want to put that call to action out to, hey, I've got this awesome resource. Check it out, go here, and then you're going to convert them to get onto your email list. And so this kind of moves them into into your sales funnel. It moves them into that kind of that B part where it's building relationships, and you're just going to serve them, give them great tips, give them, some statistics of what's going on in the world, especially with, real estate. I mean, there's so many statistics, there's so many legalities and changes. And like, I just found out the percentages of how many people have gone into like debt and foreclosure and, bankruptcy rates. And like all that information is useful, especially when you are in the real estate sphere. And so like share that stuff with them. That's going to be useful. That is going to help build that know, like, and trust, and they're going to feel like you're in their corner. You're not just asking for a sale or whatever it may be, asking them to invest. I mean, I know this is cliche, but you can't ask them to marry you before you've you've dated, you've gone out a few times, they like you feel like you've got some mojo together, you connect and you know each other a little bit better. You can't just jump and like close them. And especially, as you know, Whitney, with real estate investing, that like and trust factor is everything, right?
It is everything. It really is. You have to be able to, I like how you went through, attracting, building relationships, conversions. And yes, I'd love to do a show on each one of them. But, you do have to attract them in some way, right?
Yep.
But that relationship component, I mean, if that doesn't happen, they're not going to convert.
No, absolutely. And I think quite often so many people think, well, if I have products out there, an info product, a course, a mastermind, or whatever that may be, that they're just going to come and they're just going to buy, or that's not the case. You have to show that you're like a normal average human being that someone would want to, go have coffee or go meet at the bar and have a beer with, that they like you. You know what I mean? And one really great tip to Whitney is that I find a lot of people, in the real estate investing sphere or otherwise, in social media, everything is so industry specific. Don't be afraid to post pictures of your backyard, or that you had your family over. You don't have to get crazy personal, but or that you went on a trip last weekend, or people just want to connect with you on a human level, right? And feel like they can hang out with you and like you and trust you. And those little things make a huge difference.
Well, let's hang out on the building relationship component a little bit. And I appreciate you bringing up like putting out personal photos, like a photo of your family or something. Could you talk about that a little bit? Like, I mean, some people some people in the same space, I mean, you see their family numerous times a day, on Facebook Live, or, they're just on Facebook in general. But then they're also putting out content, real estate content, whatever. So, how much is too much, as far as like just blasting out every day, all the time, and even personal versus, the professional or real estate content?
Well, I mean, you love your kids, you love your cats and your dogs, but people don't want to see them every day. They're not their kids or dogs. But like, a couple times a week, it's like, my dog did a crazy thing, or my cat is extra cute today, or whatever it may be. Just like, it's something that's amusing, right? Like your cat walks across your computer, you take the picture. This is my, me in my office today. It's little funny things that people are gonna like it. They're gonna comment, "Oh, that's really cute." Um, and people just want to know that you're not all about money and all about business all of the time. They want to relate to you. You know what I mean? I mean, I love the Minions, and you'll probably see a lot of Minion stuff on my Facebook because they're just hilarious. So people know I don't do it for this reason, but people know I've got a sense of humor. I like beer. I'm not gonna lie. So on a Friday, woohoo! I want to have a beer this weekend, or I'll post a picture of like our family at a campfire going camping. So again, don't saturate the market with it all, but like pepper your posts with like personality, and or you went to a great dinner and you recommend it, or whatever that may be. It just don't go crazy. I have a Facebook profile that's just family and friends, and I do have one that's just business stuff. But you just can't keep it all about industry all the time, where people just think you're too salesy.
Yeah. So you have two different profiles. Are they both
I
like
do.
personal pages under like almost the same name or slightly different?
Slightly different, yeah. So I have, yeah, one that's friends and family because, they want to see my kids all the time. People that are my clients and my prospects or whoever in my community, they don't want to see them all the time. And I just, I'm allowed to have my privacy as well, right? And what's going on in my life and stuff like that. But you just have to find that balance. And not everyone, like I'm an open book, so it doesn't really matter to me so much, but not everyone is like that. But just know that people want to know who you are as a person and what your life is like. And just like how reality TV is, crazy out there, people want to know what's going on. But they just want to know who you are as a person, not necessarily all the time what you're doing in your business. Does that make
Awesome.
sense?
Yes, it does. It does. And I've heard numerous people talk about just getting to know people on a personal level or
Yeah,
they relate in some way, right? And there's like this connection, that you have outside of business that really converts somebody.
it does. It makes them remember you more, right? Because there is that
Mhm.
connection.
Yes. Yes. So, help us to build that relationship through, and I want to use the example of like email marketing,
Mhm.
and what that should look like. I know there's numerous things, so many things we could talk about, but, email marketing by itself, can you give us some tips on email marketing, what that should look like, what we should be including, just fire away.
You betcha. So yeah, with email marketing, that's where so many entrepreneurs they just forget about the nurturing part of it, right? I mean, if you find an article on Bigger Pockets, let's say, and you just found it super crazy helpful, then share that in an email. It shows that you're serving, it shows that you're on the ball and reading more and you know what's going on in the industry. Whether it's like a quote unquote e-zine or e-newsletter that you're doing. I got one the other day and I can't think of his name right now, but it had oh yeah, I can't remember his name. And he had like, it was an email that he sends out I think once a week, and it just lists about 5 different articles that he's read lately that were like super helpful for those in the real estate investing industry. And I'm like, that's so smart. It's not like he's having to reinvent the wheel and like write it. Like, I'm sure he writes his own stuff too, but it just shows that like he's trying to help you, right? Knowing what the stats are, what's new in the world, and what he found interesting. So that's really key. And then sharing the content that you have. So if you are publishing a podcast, obviously like yourself, or blogs, a video post, whatever that may be, do an email that just shares that podcast or just shares that article. So you're sharing your content, you're giving them strategies and tips. They may not read every article or every email, but the more that you're kind of in front of their face on a consistent basis, then they're going to remember you. So when they are ready to buy or make a move or take an action or need your help, they're more likely to, contact you because you're top of mind and that you're consistent. Consistency, Whitney, is everything because it
So,
shows that you are on the ball. It shows that you're around for the long haul, that you care, that you're organized, that you're professional. It's like all those little things in between the lines, right?
so how much is too much? Like how many emails? Could we? Obviously, I'm doing a daily show. I mean, I
Yeah.
could send out
Yeah.
content every day. And I felt like a lot of people are going to be like, wait a minute, that's just way too much, way too many emails in my inbox. What's too much?
There are so many schools of thought. I have some clients where they're like, no, I only want to email them this many times because they're just going to get annoyed. I beg to differ on that. I think let them choose. I have one client where some emails are twice a day. They're like every day. And you just have to gauge your audience. And the biggest thing that you need to look at is the stats in the back end of your email. So you can go to all the emails that you've sent out and to see, okay, how many are opening, how many are clicking the links inside, how many people are unsubscribing. So if you have, you know, say you go gangbusters for 2 weeks, right? And you send out a whack of emails, whatever that may be. If you see that your open rates are dropping, or your opt-outs are increasing, you're like, whoa, okay, I got to back off, right? But don't be crazy. Like, don't make a rash decision, because you are naturally going to get a bit of attrition, but that's always a good thing, because maybe you're weeding out those that are not engaged, or they're not an ideal client anyways. So it's just going to make your email deliverability and your stats better. But just kind of gauge that. Just kind of test, right? Do it, maybe do it 3 times a week. See how that goes for a while. And then just kind of check out your stats. If your opens are going up and your opt-outs are not, and you're getting more clicks and you're getting people that are responding to your emails or opting in for XYZ or saying yes to a strategy call, then you are on the right track. So don't be afraid to push the envelope a little bit. Just don't go from like 1 a week to 7 a week. You kind of have to like graduate it, otherwise your peeps are going to get a little shocked.
No, that's good. Great advice. Great advice. You have to look at the stats, right? What is happening? And that makes so much sense, and adjust accordingly.
Yeah.
So, you had mentioned too, like email marketing, sales funnels, or things that you're helping people with. What kind of sales funnel should we be thinking about, and when do we need a sales funnel?
That's a great question, and I get that a lot. Everyone, you can, no matter how small, how big, whatever it is that you do, you should have at least one opt-in so that you can grow your e-list. Again, whether it's a checklist, a video series, an ebook, whatever your audience wants, right? Something that's going to solve one of their biggest problems quickly. And then, of course, you want to nurture them and send emails afterwards. And you want to make sure that they actually read the thing that they opted in for. So don't be afraid to send out, I call it an engagement sequence. So a few emails like, hey, did you see this tidbit on page 4? It shared this. Oh, if you missed it, click here. So like, you just want to make sure that they're engaged and they're digesting that information, right? And then obviously you're going to nurture them along the way. And then you have to go for the ask at some point. So even if you're not selling products, even if you don't have a mastermind or a coaching program or event or whatever, you at the very least, I imagine, would have like a consultation call or a strategy call or a discovery session, whatever you want to call them. So that would be your funnel. You would then put out a series of emails that is basically going to be like, hey, are you struggling with XYZ and you're like, banging your head against a wall? You can reach me anytime. Click here to schedule a call. And so that is your ask. That is your, you're bringing them in, you're nurturing them, and then you're going for the ask. So that's how you're going to convert them. There's different ways to go about it. You can have a landing page that's all about the strategy call and how it's helped others and testimonials and, so on. But at the very least, that is like the basic funnel, right? Bring them in, engagement series, nurture them, and then go for a few emails where you're going to invite them to be on a strategy call.
Nice. So what's really the hardest part of this content marketing piece that's so important?
Consistency. I mean, we all kind of, and I'm guilty of it too. I haven't done a video in quite a while. Slap my wrists. But it's making sure that you're getting content out there on a regular basis, making sure that you're getting social media out there on a regular basis, just so that you're always top of mind. First impressions are everything, right? If someone goes to your Facebook page and you haven't done a post in 2 weeks, they're going to be like, oh, I can't rely on them. Clearly, they're barely in business. They're not posting anything. What are they doing? So those first impressions are huge. And then same with emails, right? You want to at least, reach out and touch them in some way, reach out to them, share information, even if it's a 3-sentence email that says, hey, how are you? What's going on? Like, are you struggling with XYZ? Or do you need any help? Hit reply. It can be super easy. Just get on a schedule, mark it in your calendar that you have to do this, that, and the other every month, and just plan on being consistent and start small, right? Like, even if it's 2 blogs a month and, an email once a week, and obviously social media posts, but start there, get consistent, and then you can build onto it.
Okay. And what's a way, say, recently that you've improved your content marketing that we could apply to ours?
I actually hired a amazing writer. We're putting out some new blogs, and they're really SEO driven. So they are targeted for specific keywords. They're longer. They have, there's more graphics in it. So I haven't looked at my stats or anything yet because it's still pretty new, but I'm pretty excited about it. The articles are amazing. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that.
How did you find a writer like that?
I've been connected with Jan for a long time. I'm actually going to be partnering with him on some podcast consultation services. He is a whiz at podcasts. Yeah, he is amazing. And he's a great copywriter. And so I'm like, I didn't know you did this. He's like, I could do it for you. I'm like, sweet.
Wow.
So yeah, see, this is where relationships came in handy for me because I've known him for years and we always connect, and now we're partnering up together on a few things. And he's, a huge resource for me.
Nice. And what's the number one thing, Lyndsay, that's contributed to your success?
I would say my stubbornness and perseverance. Everyone has their ups and downs, but I've always keep taking action. If you're scared, do it anyway. And just keep moving, and consistency. Absolutely.
Nice. Yeah. Consistency is so important.
It
And
is.
so unfortunately we're about out of time, but tell the listeners how you like to give back.
I love helping anyone, entrepreneurs. I give so much free tips away. And my business coach is like, your strategy calls or your consultation calls are too long. I'm like, but I just love it. I love gearing people in the right direction. So I do have a free 20-minute consultation call if people are looking to just figure out where to start, right? Where it comes to content marketing and what should I do and not do. So yeah, I love just sharing tips. I share the tools that I use all the time and do how-tos. Again, my coach is like, you're giving too much away. I'm like, but I love doing it. So.
Wow. Give us a good tool that we need to know about.
I cannot live without Teamworks, which is my project management tool. I cannot live without Canva for creating killer graphics. And it's not just for social media, it's for everything, worksheets, you name it, brochures. I love WordPress, obviously, and all the plugins that they have, especially pretty links. So you can have pretty URLs. The list goes on. I have way too many.
What is Teamworks? Is that the Facebook thing?
No, Teamworks is project management.
Okay.
So kind of like there's Basecamp, there's Podio.
Asana.
Yeah, exactly. So Teamwork, it even has a chat feature, which is kind of like Slack. It even has a desk feature. So if you have support tickets for your business, and it just allows my team and I to collaborate on projects, and for myself and my business partner to keep our fingers on the pulse and make sure everything is going smoothly.
Awesome. I appreciate you providing those tips as well. That's pretty valuable. But unfortunately, we're out of time. Tell the listeners how they can get in touch with you and learn more about your business.
You betcha. They can go to smoothbusinessgrowth.com, and there's even a social media roadmap on the homepage there to get consistent with their social they can dive into. And of course, I'm happy to hop on the call and do a free 20-minute consultation to chat about their content marketing.
Thank you for listening to the Real Estate Syndication Show, brought to you by Life Bridge Capital. Life Bridge Capital works with investors nationwide to invest in real estate, while also donating 50% of its profits to assist parents who are committing to adoption. Life Bridge Capital, making a difference, one investor and one child at a time. Connect online at www.lifebridgecapital.com for free material and videos to further your success.